Well, SOG has come out of the gate swinging for 2020 with new updates for their entire line. And today we're going to take an in-depth look at the SOG Aegis AT with their XR lock. So assisted technology, XR lock, new, fully redesigned for 2020. Aegis. And we'll dive into what's right about this new design, but also answer the question, what's wrong with this design? Questions like, is the lockup tighter than old versions of these SOG knives? Is the steel better? What's this goofy thing all about? Why is this here? And much more in this video as we look particularly at this Aegis model. Now, I've done a full in-depth video on all three, the Flash, the Aegis, and the Trident. All together, that's a big feature length video. I'll have those links for you guys below if you want to see them all head to head, side by side in action, so you can make a better determination on which blade is best suited for you. But in this video, we'll just be looking at this particular blade. So with that, guys, let's get to it. All right, folks, let's jump right on into it. I'm not going to hold any bones about it, and not going to hold any punches either. Like this cool color combination. Now, they do have more dialed down tones if you don't like all the bright colors, but they're kind of doing that, giving you some pop there with that kind of teal and lime green. I like it. It's just cool. You know, there's so many black and tan and just OD green knives out there. It's nice that they're giving you some flavor options. And again, if that is something you don't like and you just like the dialed down tones, they do have those available. Now to the blade shape. This is classic Aegis blade shape, leaf, full flat grind design. It's 3.13 inches. Great for a lot of tasks, broad slicer, great relief edge. These are going to come with really good relief edges. Starts at 1/8 of an inch thick down by those thumb studs, and then is going to taper down to a very precise tip. Very similar and reminiscent of the last generation. Now, as you can see there, again, the Cryo D2, that is absolutely an upgrade over the old AUS 8. SOG has always seemed to, them and like Cold Steel seem to always get like the best out of a steel with their cryos and heat treats and things that they're doing. And I would absolutely say that is the case with this design. It's a very good D2. The knife is made in Taiwan, not China, so that's a positive to me. And they always seem to do really good jobs with their cryo treatment. They used to do that on their AUS 8, and you could get some of the best edge retention out of the AUS 8 that SOG would do. So I have seen the same with this D2. You're going to get very good edge retention. They have a really good blacked out kind of coating on there that is wear resistant, going to help fight against rust. The D2 isn't quite as rust resistant as the AUS 8 was, so that's something to consider, but I haven't seen any sort of rusting or issues, even though I'm in a low humidity environment. Now, there is a 90-degree spine on there as well, and it's just a wicked slicer. It'll absolutely slice the best out of the entire SOG line of these new designs because of the full flat grind and just that overall edge geometry that they're giving you there. All right, so let's go ahead and hit a lot of stuff here. Let's look at the safety first. This little shark fin popping up there. Red is dead. When you can see it red exposed, that means that you can deploy the blade. And then if you tap that thing down, then it is locked and it will not deploy the blade. Now, it's an assisted, this is their assisted technology design, and it's fine. It does the job. I would prefer for it not to have a safety. If it did, to maybe have like a Benchmade style where it's just a little lever that's flush or almost flush, you know, you just slide back and forth, or even SOG's older design on the side there would kind of be out of the way. Now, I was really worried it was going to create hot spots. It does not do that. When you just hold it in a grip like this, it floats right underneath where your thumb would rest, and it never created a problem. And even if I bared down and did a hammer grip like that and was really bearing down doing feather sticks or something, it just sits right in the webbing of your hand, and you know it's there, but it doesn't put any pressure on your hand, causing problems. So it's not an issue. It's just kind of like, why? And, you know, it kind of throws off the design, in my opinion. I would have preferred not to have one. You know, here's a link, no issue. Never had a safety on it, never had it deploy accidentally in my pocket. But if they are going to go with the safety, I would have preferred it to be flush or something. I have seen a few people disassemble the knife, take it off, and then put it back together, and the knife seems to work fine, and there's no safety. So if you want to mess around with it, you could do that. So that's what that fin is. It's there. It doesn't create a hot spot. Wish it wasn't there. Now, that assisted technology is super snappy, a lot faster than the old versions. Really like it. For an assisted design. I kind of wish it didn't have an assisted feature. I prefer something that's a manual, you know, that you can then like whip back and forth because of that XR lock. Now, I've used it on several of their designs. The patent on Benchmade's Axis lock has expired over the last few years, so companies can now use a very similar system, and that's basically what they've done. It's rated for 1,500 pounds. It's completely ambidextrous there. You're gonna get this little pin that moves back and forth here, and that's what locks it into place. Boom. Then you can just close that. Again, completely ambi. Great thumb studs on either side too. Gonna hit that, gonna deploy just fine. And then I believe it's running on bronze is what I'm seeing in their bushings. So that's really good. Now, old SOGs were super loosey-goosey in their lockups. You know, I mean, it was like this weird kind of goofy locking mechanism right here. The assisted, you know, is kind of slow compared to this new one. And you got lots of rocks, side to side, up and down, all over the place. And you got this little mechanism you move. And I think those old ones kind of had like a piston lock, like a bar would come in and then you could, anyway. So I way prefer this, much stronger, way tighter lockup too. I have none up and down, ever so slight side to side, which is what you expect with most assisted open knives. I mean, here's a, you know, dividend, tight up and down. I got a little rock side to side. Or that's a link. Typical, but much tighter than your average SOGs that they had in the last one. Much, much tighter, stronger lockup. Very pleased with all of that. So blade steel is absolutely an upgrade over the old AUS 8. That's really good. No qualms about that. This is the first issue of several that we're going to hit on today. Is that this is each SOG knife that they produce, the Flash, the Aegis, and the Trident all have like a kind of vein. The Flash, they say, is their EDC. The Aegis here is supposed to be their outdoor knife. Now, preferences vary, different attitudes, things like that. I do a ton of backpacking, hiking, camping. I'm in the woods 2 to 3 times a month at least for a full day and do tons of outdoor work all the time. For me, I prefer a saber grind over a full flat when I'm talking about an outdoor knife. They tend to be stronger. There's a little bit more strength involved. This is definitely, even though it's an 1/8 inch thick, it holds that thickness longer to that tip on the Flash here, and then that high saber grind. Still a good slicer, not as good as the Aegis, but it has a strength and rigidity and just durability that a full flat grind with such a precise tip, and this one being the shortest blade of all 3 of their new designs at just over 3 inches, it doesn't have a lot of reach or real estate. So I feel like the blade is kind of out of place with what the shape and size that they decided to go with and design. Would have been way better on the EDC kind of veined knife. So it's almost like the blade should have been put on a more EDC focused handle and had that vein, and then put, in my opinion, the Flash blade on more of an outdoor focused knife. So that's just me, because it's such a wicked precise cutter and slicer, but I would always be hesitant to take it out in the woods or outdoors for me, and I would way more gravitate to either the Trident or the Flash of the designs, because they both have high saber grinds and just have a little bit more strength, and they have longer real estate. So that's kind of it's just weird to me that they decided to go with this model as their outdoor blade. So the other issue is this pocket clip. Now, it's a good, strong pocket clip, rides well, it's loop over, deep ride, all the things we like, ambidextrous, no issues there. Low branding, you know, doesn't have like the old versions used to. SOG, you know, I really appreciate the dialed down billboard that SOG is now doing, which is really good. So the issue comes in with these non-recessed screws and how close they are to the pocket clip itself. There is hardly any tolerance there. And so what that means is for really thin, lightweight, like hiking pants, and or like maybe board shorts, you know, running shorts, those type of things, it works fine. There's not an issue. But you start wearing your average type of jeans, you start wearing any type of 511, Vertex type of pants, you know, any of that where there might be a thicker lip or even a reinforced lip, game over. It's going to get bogged down right at that first screw, and you're going to have like an inch sticking up out of your pocket. And the other 2 designs don't have that. The Flash has loop over, didn't have any sort of bogging down because there's no screw, and same with the Trident. It has a good standoff there so that it's not going to get bogged down. So I don't know why they did that. Even other, you know, pocket knives that do have screws, that are not recessed. I don't know how well that's showing up, but there is more tolerance with this Kershaw dividend than there is on the Aegis, so I can still get it through most even reinforced pockets. A few of them, maybe if they're really, really thick, but you know, my jeans and stuff like that, no problem whatsoever. And so it's just so close with the tolerances that it doesn't make it fun to carry for about half of my wardrobe, which is a downer, you know. And if they had just redesigned some of that, that would have been, they had just put the flash pocket clip on there, would have been great. Now this is another aspect that's kind of like, why? I don't get it. It's kind of a hang up for me. Again, going to the concept of if they had thought this more as the EDC knife, I think we would have eliminated some of this just wonkiness, because we have a very long handle, 5.1 inches. It's nice and beefy at 0.6 inches thick, about an inch in 0.3 high. Good radius on that glass reinforced nylon. Really good, no hot spots. Very, very well done. Flow through construction. Now what's cool is they have steel liners now, which ups the weight over the old models. Those old models are just polymer handles. Now they have steel liners, which helps the strength. It will up the weight. This one comes in, I believe, like 4.7, something like that on the weight class. So definitely, you know, a little bit heavier blade for a 3-inch knife, but you get a big handle, 5.1 inches long. But what's really weird, and I'll just show you before I get to the weird part. There you go. Real good. Very comfortable. Nice little blocky jimping right there, not hot, not going to cause any hot spots there, but gives you a little bit of grip, good cut in, nice scallops. I mean, just well done. Well done in that aspect. And you can see how much real estate is on the back. It's this wonky pocket clip back here. I have like an inch, more than an inch sticking off the back, and it's kind of sticking out. Kind of takes away from the symmetry of the knife, and the Aegis always had a really cool in the old design symmetry. So you have this big lanyard hole that you could easily get 550 paracord through. Obviously it's kind of supposed to be this outdoor knife, you know, a little bit different. Okay, sure, whatever. But when you close up the blade, you can see there we got like over an inch sticking out the back that we don't need. And so if they had just kind of radiused and brought it up, removed all that, you would have been able to shorten the handle by probably about half an inch, brought it to 4.5 inches. You probably would have been able to get it under 4.5 ounces because of that less weight. You wouldn't have this doofy lanyard hole right here, and you would still have plenty of real estate even with my large size hands. So it's just goofy. It just kind of sticks out there. Some of you will love it. You'll be like, great. And it's not going to cause a hot spot. I was worried like, oh my gosh, is it going to be like right on your pinky or something? I mean, you can see there, look at how much real estate if I'm backed up on that lanyard. I mean, it's huge. The handle is ginormous. So, I mean, even XXX should be able to handle this knife without issue. It's just like, I don't get it. And particularly for the blade shape, I don't know. It's just, it's there. It's not causing any real problems, but it's like, why? So another kind of stick in your craw point here with this design is the price. Now I bought all 3 of the SOGs that I'm testing out. Went over Blade HQ, picked them all up. Now GP Knives is a seller, and Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and eventually they'll be on Amazon. So I'll have links for you guys below. If this design or other SOG designs or just even the other competitive options connect with you, awesome. Appreciate when you purchase through the hyperlinks. That helps me buy gear like this. If these do not, obviously, totally cool, totally get it. Just appreciate you watching and getting the data that you need. I also want to give a quick shout out to all the PayPal supporters, you guys who support through PayPal, 5, 10, 20 bucks a month. You guys help me to do videos just like this. So thank you for your support. This thing costs $85. So Taiwanese made, D2, lots of upgrades over the old versions. It's $10 more than the Flash, and it has all of the exact same technology. And actually the Flash has a larger blade. And so I don't quite understand that the Flash is going to be $75. So the fact that they cost $10 more, and when we look at other competitive options, particularly an assisted 20 CV USA made link, very similar kind of size, a little bit larger blade, but you know, kind of EDC, big kind of full handle, loop over, ambidextrous. That is a way more premium steel, 80 bucks. USA made, $5 cheaper. Now I like the locking mechanism, and the assisted technology on the SOG is a little bit better, faster, snappier than on the Link here, but the steel is way more premium, and for everyday carry tasks, EDC work, very competitive. Again, I think about 15, definitely 10. It should be the same price as the Aegis in my opinion, or excuse me, the Flash in my opinion. And honestly, the Flash and the Aegis, I believe, are about $10 overpriced. Honestly, if they were more like 65, like maybe $69.99, something like that, just be a little more tolerable. At that price point, there's a lot of competitive options out there that you got to think through before you drop $85 on the Aegis. Well, folks, there you have it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been entertaining, but also informative, showing you what are some of the great aspects to this design, but what are some of the hindrances, or just kind of like what happened. You're, you know, just hoping to one day see some design tweaking. Overall, guys, those are the issues that I have with the Aegis, and why of the 3 designs of their new ones, it's my least favorite and not the best of their entire series, in my opinion. And with some fine tuning and just some slight tweaking of the design, I think it would be an epic EDC blade. And I hope that maybe they do that in the future. They just do some fine tuning. I know certain companies do a really good job of listening to the consumer. I'm sure I'm not alone in some of these feelings that I have. A de-assisted version one day would be amazing. And maybe they'll do that, you know, 2021. They'll have the assisted for those who like that, and they'll have de-assisted no safety for those who want more of a snappy action, you know, and all that type of stuff, like a Benchmade would. Because I would, in many ways, even gravitate to thades over some of my Benchmades that I own, just because of their feel and design. So, guys, I appreciate you coming over today. Love to hear your guys' feedback, your comments. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. Become part of the GT family. Watch the other video popping up. Again, the full-length feature-length film video is in the link for you guys below. And I don't know, I'm sure I'm missing some other stuff. Love you guys. You're awesome. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.